Everyone, this is Erica Johnston and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, welcome. In today's video, I'm going to give you 7 different ways to help you push through those sometimes challenging and tough days when you're going gray. So stay tuned. All right, so if you've committed to going gray and either you're ready or you're thinking about it, or maybe you're 3 months in or you're 1 year in, or if you're like me, you're over 2 years in, you might have some challenging days. And I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that don't, but for myself, I had many tough days and I still do from time to time. I think that my number 1 tip is to get rid of any box dye that you might have laying around the house. And the reason for that is because when I the very first time when I decided to go gray, I ended up using that box of dye. And it was, I was having a bad day and I thought to myself, I can't do this anymore. And I just grabbed that box or maybe it was 2 boxes, and dyed my hair. And then of course I ended up regretting it. And so anytime, it's like any kind of crutch, right? I feel like almost dyeing your hair is kind of like an addiction in many ways, right? You do become addicted to it, and I think that when you see that, the white start to show through, oh my gosh, I gotta get it done. So just basically get rid of any boxes of dye, and then you won't be tempted. It's like anything. If you have, a sugar addiction, you have whatever, a pizza addiction, if you have that in the house, your willpower can only last so long, right? So you're going to end up opening that box of Oreos and eating the box if you're like me. So right from the very beginning, when I first thought about transitioning, my 2 biggest supporters were my kids. So these 2 right from the beginning. Yeah, so Everett and Clive, they supported me, and I still have days, right boys? Like I still have days where I go, oh, I don't want to be gray, I'm tired of it, I can't do this, and whatever, right? So
you'll get through it and stuff.
Weird.
whenever like you say you want to go back to brown, we always convince you not to.
That's true. And I remember when I first dyed my hair brown, like after I just thought I can't do this, and I dyed my hair brown, and I came home, Everett here, sit up a little bit so they can see you. Everett here, he actually said that I look like a witch with brown hair. So here I am thinking, oh, the stereotypical witch with the gray hair. Oh, a little bit grumpy. So when I first started going gray, I really just thought, oh man, I can't do this. But every time I go, that's it. And I would say it many times, like, I'm dyeing my hair, I'm dyeing my hair. And this guy especially, and Clive, they would say, no, it looks so good. And it would only be, 3 inches. They loved it. So thanks, Everett, for that. So really, really important to have a support system. I think that's also why I started making YouTube videos, was because for myself, I didn't have this community of women, you all. I didn't have them, and I don't have them here. Although I have to say now, I'm really starting to see more and more silver-haired women or gray-haired women in Toronto. Maybe it's because I'm just noticing it more, but in my immediate community and circle of friends, I don't have anyone, right? So it can be challenging, and some of your friends may look at you and go, what are you doing? That sort of thing. But you just have to kind of push through, okay? And know that you're doing it for yourself. So that is my second piece of advice to you, is make sure that you have some sort of support system. All right, so my third piece of advice is, say you're having a moment and you just think, that's it, I want to give up, I hate this silver or gray, whatever, I can't do it anymore, I feel so ugly, I look old, and I've had comments from some of you saying, oh, like, I'm already old looking, this is gonna make me look worse, and and sometimes in the beginning it really is not, it's not the best, especially when you've got so many different colors going on. It isn't as attractive as it will look when it's fully grown out, for those of you who haven't finished the transition. So my piece of advice, and this is something that has worked for me many times, and literally 2 weeks ago, I was just thinking, that's it, I can't do this anymore, is to really sit down and take the time to think about what would happen if you dyed your hair. So actually fully imagine it, maybe go sit in a quiet room and just, start to use your imagination and think about it. So for myself, I have been sort of toying with going back to brunette because I miss it. And there is this nostalgia for it. I feel like, I don't know, and maybe it is a part of your youth that you're looking for. And the funny thing is it was gone a long time ago, right? I was faking it for so long. So it really wasn't my youth, right? It was just me. Maybe it's part of you, right? Somebody put a comment on one of my videos, and she said that even though she's a brunette, she's actually colored her hair red, dyed her hair red for so many years that she identifies as a redhead. So for her, it's almost kind of a double whammy, right, to transition to the gray, because not only is she losing the red, she is now gaining brunette and the silver. So it's like a whole two different things, right? So suddenly she's losing everything. Whereas for myself, I dyed my hair brown, but I still have the brown underneath and sort of throughout and stuff, right? So I get it. And your hair really can be your identity. So if you're in this and you really want to go silver, then you need to sit there and think, okay, and this is what I do. I think to myself, all right, you've dyed your hair brown. Okay, maybe I do like it. Maybe I've got great highlights and I like it for a few days. I like it for a week. But all of a sudden now, I can see the little silver sparkle starting to come through, right? And 2 weeks later, it's already time to dye again. So I cannot go to the salon to get it done. I can't afford it. I can't keep going to the salon to go and do the roots every single time. So I get that box dye. I get the box dye, I do my roots. Uh-oh, it's too light. And now I'm back in the whole cycle again of never ever liking my hair. And that's really what it was. Every so often I would get a wonderful dye job by a salon and some nice highlights, but before long I've dyed out those highlights and now it's a scraggly color and it just doesn't look good. And I'm back in that whole cycle. And then I think to myself, I miss the silver. I miss, not having to think about it. And that's what stops me from coloring my hair again. So, and it gets me through until I'm starting to feel, this way again. So, and then eventually I start to love the silver again. So just know that you'll have these maybe you won't, but you might have these highs and lows where you love your silver, you feel rebellious, you feel authentic, whatever it is. And then you're going to have days where you look in the mirror and you go, oh my gosh, I don't recognize myself. So, or you see a photograph of yourself with the silver and the gray and you just think, like, who is that woman? I don't recognize her. But it's okay, and just know that you will feel better eventually. All right, so my fourth tip is to have some sort of inspiration board handy. And for myself, I have a Pinterest board, but I mean, you can have something where you cut out images and you post them up onto an actual board, whatever works for you. But I just think you need to have some inspiration handy, like very handy, so you can just go to it very quickly and look and go, all right, because that's what I did. I mean, Annika von Holt, I've said it 1,000 times. She truly was my silver-haired muse. Sarah Harris was another. I think she's British Vogue editor, and a couple others. And it was ones, for me, my inspiration, and everybody will be different. Mine was this long silver hair. That was my inspiration. And I kept looking at these pictures going, okay, you will have that someday, you will have that. So maybe for yourself, you've got curly hair. Maybe you're looking for, curly haired silver. You might look for somebody who is 50-50% silver and brunette or something like that. But try to find somebody who is close to your appearance I think that that will serve as a better source of inspiration for yourself, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. I also, for myself, I really like to search up women with silver hair with brown eyes, because I just felt like all I was seeing when I first started looking a few years ago was blue eyes, blue eyes, blue eyes, you know, and this icy silver hair. And for me, I imagined that a lot of these women were blonde when they were young, and the silver just looked so good on them, and I didn't see very many with as like brunettes doing this. So yeah, so anyways, just search up whatever inspires you, and it doesn't matter what that is, right? It just has to make you feel good. All right, so my fifth piece of advice is to, if you're just feeling off, is to go and get either a haircut or style your hair nicely. Just do something to get yourself out of that rut, because you know, sometimes you're not feeling yourself, and it really helps to make yourself feel a little bit better. So that's my fifth piece of advice. All right, so number 6 is to give yourself little milestone rewards. And this is the teacher in me for sure coming up with this idea, but I love having little tiny rewards along the way, right? So I'm also very goal oriented. So for myself, I would think to myself, okay, if you can make it through 3 months, then, you know, treat yourself to a massage. Or if you make it through 6 months, you can go and do something at the spa, right? So I think having those little reward incentives are fun, and that might be something that will help you through. It's exciting, right? Like I felt for myself when I made it through the 1 year mark, that was very, very, very special for me. And I knew that when I made it through that I could do anything. So yeah, so that's my 6th piece of advice. All right, so finally, my 7th and final piece of advice for when you are really not digging your silver hair, and that is to actually take the focus off of your hair and onto yourself in a different way. And that's through becoming more healthy. It could be, you know, working on mind, body, soul. So think of different ways that you can incorporate balance into your life, right? Because we can become extremely obsessed with our hair, especially in the beginning. And you have times where you feel like every single day you are staring at it, you know, grow, please grow. And it's like watching paint dry or waiting for that pot of water to boil. It's the same thing, right? It's just, it can become a little obsessive, and you know, our friends only want to hear so much about it, right? So, you know, try to just go around and not think about your hair. Think about your life, think about what's going on, think about your friends, other people, and sort of forget about your hair. I think it's really helpful, and it's very good for yourself, right? And for your self-esteem. Sort of forget about it and just live your life, and eventually it goes by. I mean, think about how quickly a year does go by, right? And you look back and you go, oh wow, and like another year, right? And for me, I'm getting close to 2.5 years. And yes, in the beginning it seems so slow, but really I look back and I go, whoa, wait a second, right? So I guess that's my biggest takeaway. Just focus less on your hair, right? Easier said than done. But you know, when you look at yourself in the morning, and I have days like I wake up and my hair is just, you know, like this, I just scrape it back into a ponytail, forget about it, put a smile on my face, and think about what's going on in my life. What are my kids up to? What have I got going on? And then suddenly, you know, the day goes by and you haven't thought about your hair once. So those are my 7 tips for you. I hope that they help you as well. And if you've got any other tips that you want to share about getting through those challenging, tough days of going silver, please share them with me and with everybody else. And until next week, I hope you have an amazing, amazing week, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now. I welcome you, and I am excited to see you. No, okay. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks. Not really tricks, really no tricks, just some tips on how to go gray. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not giving you tips on how to go gray. That's not this video. Okay. Of going gray. So stay tuned. I'm gonna give you 7. I'm gonna actually give them a number. Okay. I don't think he wants to be picked up. Or, you know, trying to wait for that pot. Or trying to wait for that pot to boil. The pot, like the actual pot's boiling. Okay.